Good morning, guys. Tommy B here. It's Monday morning. We got a low sitting off our coast. It's like rain for a week. A lot of people are getting flooded up and down my neighboring states. South Carolina, Georgia, they're getting it pretty hard. So I've noticed, a lot of you, of course, know that I've done the Rakon Healy frame conversion. Done several videos on, and of course here's you another one with some helpful hints and some suggestions. A lot of you guys, of course, looking at my videos, ask me things and all, and try to help y'all best I can. Sometimes it might take a little time to get back to you, but I hear you, and I see you running into issues, and when I notice things like that, I'll try to do a little vid and help you guys out of a tight situation or a potential problem. For one, mine is a 350QX version 1 motherboard, which is distinguished by hardwire receiver antenna off rear right corner of motherboard, the ferrite rings around the ESC wires. Those are the two distinguishing things to the V1 motherboard. Mine has been updated, of course, to V2 firmware. I took it to V3 before. I really didn't care for V3 firmware, so I put it back to V2. I like the way my V2 performs. I've yet to have any issues with it. If you do the right calibrations and do the proper maintenance on it, you usually have a dependable craft. Of course, we all know that plastic eggshell bodies were weak as heck on it. So, of course, now with the Rakon frames, you've got durability. Let's hope that I don't have to do any durability testing. Guys, when you take the wiring harness and motherboard out of the original body, the lesser you unplug, the better off you'll be. And reason being is things that get mismatched, particularly the ESCs and electronic speed control unit, and you'll mismatch these up, and then you won't understand why it's not working correctly when you go to fire it back up after you completed, and you'll have to do what's called ESC motor assignment procedure. There's a couple videos on YouTube, and I think Horizon Hobby has a video on it. I have a good friend of mine, Dennis Ingram. He's a master at it. He's the one that taught me. I've only had to do it a couple times, so I always have to call him and get his tell me the technique again, because I don't never write it down. But anyway, these ESCs, you're going to have to unplug them on one side, because you know what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to cover them with heat shrink tubing, because you don't need any electrical contacts touching the carbon fiber frame. It will cause a short, could result in a fire, burn up board, burn up ESC, fall out of the sky failure, so on. I recommend to only unplug the motor side. It would be nice to keep maybe mark you a number on your motor, so your motor goes back to the right arm, so it's got equal wear and tear on it, and you're aware, you're keeping track of that. But it doesn't matter if you mismatch motors. That isn't what changes. It's the ESC that changes. It's what's numbered to a motor. Like I said, I unplugged from motor side, and I put my ESC on. Now here's another thing I've noticed guys are doing. Y'all do the lighter technique as far as shrinking a piece of heat shrink. Sometimes you may have to do that, and you got to be really careful. The wire will catch fire faster than the heat shrink, and you usually burn a wire up, and then of course you got a foul connection there. What I recommend is borrow your wife's hair dryer on the highest heat setting, and usually it will heat shrink. Or myself, I have an industrial type. No guys, I didn't buy it to heat shrink. I use this for my work, and this does a really good job. You have to run it on its lowest setting. Let your wife borrow this once, and she'll burn all her hair off. Like I said, those are just trying to give you some hints. Then, when you're going back together with this thing, like I said, you got to make sure no contacts are touching. And, another reason, you want to not unplug anything is, and normally when you are taking it apart, you'll have to unplug the compass sensor at the bottom of the leg in order for the wire to route through the original body. I want to say that the V3 gimbal will come right out the bottom. They had changed it where it went out the bottom of a connector, and you duct it through the bottom frame of these. The receiver wire that's running down the leg, I don't think that's the issue to pull right out of the existing frame, original frame. I think that probably covers that. And then these little plug-ins on the motherboard and the ESC right here, one of them's catching the light, and then the other one's actually what talks to the motherboard. They'll break off real easy. So unless you take apart there, the better off you are. Here's your one idea. This is something that I've done. Your light layout in this is red front, blue rear. I always thought that was not a really good idea. To me, red is brake light, tail light on a vehicle. So I actually moved my red lights to the rear, blue to the front. And I unplugged them from there very carefully. I think that covers all I could think of to let you guys know about. That's I know the unplugging and mismatching ESCs was an issue for some of you guys. I guess you in a hurry, you started unplugging things and running like wildfire on it, but it's not a good way to handle that. The problem can be solved, of course, by doing the ESC motor assignment procedure, but it's just one less thing you have to do if you're careful. If you guys have any questions or anything, give me a shout out on my group pages. One is USA Blade 350QX Owners Group, World Group, as well as Rakon Healy Group. Shout out to a friend of mine on YouTube. His name is Fishy Comic. He has done numerous videos on 350QX issues and helpful hints and things. He is my inspiration for me doing YouTube videos. He's a Yankee, but I'd say I probably could get along with him. He seems like a real nice guy. Special shout out to him. Burn up the skies.